welcome once again to Let's Talk Marriage. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. I hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, you are doing well. All right. Our program today is dedicated to our all of our mothers out there because we have Mother's Day that's coming up. It's a very special day. Every day should be Mother's Day, but actually day is set aside to honor our mothers, the ones that grandparents and ones that anyone that raised you as a female would be considered a mother figure. All the mother figures, all the natural mothers, all the biological mothers, stepmothers, all the mothers out there. We want to honor you on today's program. And on today's program, we're going to be talking about qualities of a good mother. And I've often said that, with this day and age, it's kind of hard to find good mother. It's not like you used to, because, we have the mothers nowadays that every once in a while you hear them say, "Oh, I need a break." Back in the day, you didn't hear mothers say anything like they needed a break. A lot of times they had like 5, 6 kids, and most of them were like one right after the other, and they held it down. They held it down, and they took care of the household. And if there was a husband in the household, they made sure the husband was provided for as well. So we have to honor those mothers that just hang in there, and no matter what goes on, they're there for their children. They're very supportive. We have to honor them, on today. And on today we're talking about the qualities of a good mother. And again, like I said, good mothers are hard to find. We get the ones that the nowadays mothers, the modern mother, let's put it that way. The modern mother wants a break. She don't want to be bothered with her kids, and things that they predict or what they diagnose is what I'm trying to say. The things that they diagnose today, it existed then, but they didn't have a label on it. Like a lot of times you hear people that suffer postpartum depression. It was going on back then as well, but there was no label for it at the time. Because mothers, would some of them would break down or something. Sometimes they would go through depressions and things, but they worked their way out of it. And now, the modern mothers, they don't go through as half as much as the ones did years ago, but they can't handle a lot of things, and if you need help, you need to see a counselor or something. I always recommend that on the program. Make sure you do so. And just because you have a kid, going back to what makes a good mother or the qualities of a mother, just because you have a kid does not make you a mother. And just because you raise kids, it does not make you a mother. And then again, on the other hand, we can't hold things against our parents, especially as we get adults. Whatever they did when you were coming up, you have to move on from that. Some people, they linger on things or hold grudges, against their parents. They don't talk to their parents anymore because of something that might have happened during their childhood. They might not have had a great childhood. But you have to remember that they did the best that they could for what they had, with what they had. So we have to make sure that we move on from those things and learn from the things that you thought that they didn't do right. Make sure you make a point of doing those things with your children. And not holding things against your parents, especially your mothers, because your mother is your mother, and we have to make sure that we honor our mothers. Because a lot of our most of our adult people over a certain age don't have their mothers. And if you're lucky enough to have your mother, make sure that you go see them. We have people that I know, well, I even know of people that, never go to see their mom. I can't even fathom that. Or you have people that say, oh, my grandmother's mean. I've never heard of a mean grandmother. I've heard people talking about it, but I've never experienced a mean grandparent. But we have to make sure that we honor our mothers, because they are there. They're the ones that pray for us. They're the ones that keep the household going. And if your mom's happy, the household is going to be happy. So stop holding grudges against something she might not have got you a Barbie doll or a Cabbage Patch Kid back in the day, and you really wanted one. Go buy one now, then. If your mama couldn't afford it, then go buy one now and just set it on the shelf. Because I remember my mom didn't have no money to buy me a G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip. But I got one after I became an adult, and I just put it on the shelf. I didn't hold that against her. All right, we're going to get into the qualities of a good mother. The first one is patient. Moms are patient, especially with some of the things we did as a kid. She'd tell you to do one thing, you did another. Moms are the most patient people that I know of. And the things that when you look back at the things that you did, and then you see your kids do it, don't get upset with them because your mom had to deal with you and she had patience with you when you did it. So make sure you have patience with your children. It's okay to remind them, that, when I was young, I did the same thing. There's nothing wrong with telling your kids that. So they'll know that you're not perfect. Because if you paint a picture of being perfect, when something does come up, then they're going to hold that against you. But if you paint a picture of them, to your kids as a parent, that you're not a perfect person, you made some of the same mistakes that they are making, they'll learn from them and they'll be able to move on from them. But if you paint a picture of you being perfect, when they do something or have an issue, they won't come to you because they figure they're gonna be judged for the things that they might have done. So patience is number one. Number two, respectful. Moms are the most respectful people again that I know. They always respect their children. We're talking about the good mothers, and they respect their husbands. And sometimes the husband might not even be that great of a father, but she's not gonna tell her child that he's not a great father. She's gonna remind you that he's your father. And they're not going to let you hold anything against them. So mothers are very respectful. Number three, which I think should have been number two, or actually number one, strong. Good mothers are the things that mothers went through. They are the strongest. They always call them super mothers or super mom because they are able to. If you think about it, and especially when they talk about the moms that work out of the home or don't work outside the home, they stay at home moms, even the ones that work. Can you imagine, holding it? Because actually, what they do is they hold down a corporation, they run a household, they run a budget, they run a menus, they prepare menus for the family. They make sure everyone has all the kids have the proper clothes, properly dressed. They do most of the shopping. They make the budget. So they're like accountants. They're like accountants. They're like real estate agents because they have to make sure the property is kept up. When things need repairing, she's the one that tell the dad this needs be repaired. Should I call this person? We're gonna have to call that person, or if you can't do it, we'll hire somebody to do it. They're the ones that run the household. So they are the strongest and still do that. And sometimes they don't even have enough time for themselves. That's why Mother's Day is such a special day. Let them have that time because they're running back and forth and running around all year long. On that particular day, if they, one of the mothers say, "Oh, I don't need no break," let them have that break on that day. And make sure you get your mom some flowers. All you children, make sure you get them some flowers. If they're not a flower person, get them something special for Mother's Day because they are the strongest people in your household. Number four, humble. Mothers are so humble. They, you know what, and they're not the, especially true mothers, and they're not the ones that sometimes they might not look like a supermodel. They might not have the makeup on every day, and they might not dress to the nines every day. They might just slip on something. Say for instance the child needs some milk or something, and they need to run out and get it. They're not gonna have time to dress up and put on this, put on that. They're just gonna run out because they know it's something that's needed in the household. So they'll run out and get it. So mothers are very humble people, and things that children do and things that they take from other people. They're very humble people. And number five, they're empathetic. They relate to the emotions and thoughts or attitudes of others. How many times your mom put up with your attitude and your emotions, all those things that you were going through as you were growing up. They related to those things and they understood what you were going through, and they always stood by you, and they the ones that encourage you the most. You've always got the most encouragement. I know I did. I got the most encouragement from my mom and my grandmother. They were the most encouraging people. And then when I went to school, I had a teacher in grade school that was like a grandmother figure because she was an older teacher at the time, and she was a very encouraging person, and she had no children, and she was very encouraging along with my. So I got encouragement from so many different mother figures in my life. So we have to make sure that we support our mothers. Authoritative. They can take the reins when they need to. They can lay down the law. And when we were coming up, you could not do anything. Like sometimes you go in the store, you see a kid acting out and jumping all around and rolling on the floor and screaming. We didn't do that when we went to the store. That's why I always say, parents, young parents, old parents, please make sure you take your children out to places so when they go, they'll know how to behave. Some kids don't know how to behave because their parents never take them anywhere. You have to take them more places than the park. You have to take them places where there's other adults at, where they take them to nice restaurants every once in a while so they'll know what to expect, how to act when they go to places. And parents back then, before you left the house, they told you what you should and should not do before you left the house. I remember many times my mother would say, "I'm going to the store to get certain things. Don't ask for that because you're not going to get it." I remember when my kids were little, we would go in the store and they would see something, and I would always say, "We didn't come here for that." I got that from my mom. She used to tell us that a lot. We didn't come here for that. We came here for two things. And a lot of times it would be detergent or some toilet paper. And that was all she got. It was the detergent and the toilet paper. We walked right out the store. And we didn't make a scene in the store. Because if we thought we were going to make a scene, she would just look at us, And those are kind of, because sometimes you have these kids, they go to church, they don't know how to behave. And, and I'm not talking about the kids that don't go often. I'm talking about the kids that go often. This is the modern parents. The kids come to church, they're acting out, they're being loud, and the parents just sitting there not saying anything. When you are a parent, you have to take control. When you're a good parent, that's why authoritative parents is a plus for a good quality in a mother. And another thing, when you were a kid and you went to someone's house, whether you knew them or not, you didn't walk around in their house. You sat there by your mother. She made you sit there by your mother. Nowadays, when kids come to your house, they walk around your house. We didn't do that. That was a no-no. We sat there by our parents, and if they needed to go somewhere, they would ask the homeowner, "Is it all right if they do this? Is it all right if they do that?" But now, because the authoritative parents back then, they took control of their children, so they didn't have the children. How you say it, cutting up in the store. We didn't we didn't go to the store and cut up. My mother just looked at us out the corner of her eye. She never had to say anything. She just looked at us. You don't have to yell at your kids if you have them. Trained a certain way, you don't have to yell at them. You can just look at them and they'll know what you mean. And that's where authoritative parents come in. Number 7, supportive. Now, your parents will support you no matter what. And, they're able to support you because they know you. That's one of the qualities of a good parent, which I'm surprised that's not on here, is they know their children. They know when you're lying. They know when you're telling the truth. Like if someone accuses you of something, they'll say right away. If they'll ask you, they'll look you right in your face and ask you, "Now, did you do this?" And if you say no, they'll say, "He didn't do it." And they say, "Well, how you know he didn't do it?" "Because I know him." That's how parents were good quality. One of the good qualities of a parent, they knew their children, or they know their children. So they know when they're telling a lie, and they know when they're telling the truth. So that's number 7, supportive. Number 8, loving. No one loves you like mom does. I've seen so many times where people get in trouble and kids get in trouble, and daddy be like, "No, I ain't going to." Mom be like, we got to go get him out. We got to go get him out. We got to bail him out. But don't reach that point where mom say, not this time. When you reach that point, she still be loving on you, but you didn't cross the line. So loving is one of the qualities, one of the good qualities uh, of a wonderful mother. And that should have been number 1, is loving, because they love on you no matter what you've done. Mama's always going to be there for you. They always have their back, always going to have your back. So make sure that we are supporting our mother. Please go and see your grandparents. I know young people that never go see their grandparents. You know what? I used to always go see my grandparents. I just love to, sit around. I'm hear them talking, telling their stories about how they grew up and how they were raised and what they did, where they came from. A lot of us don't even know our history, and a lot of times our history gets passed on by the mothers, because the mothers would sit around and talk, and they would let you know when, back then they would let you know when they were going to be talking about adult things. But for the most part, they would let you sit around so they knew that you would learn, and that's how you would learn, and that's how they taught you, by sitting down, having conversations with your aunts or their siblings, and talking about how they grew up and the things that they did. And they would let you listen, and then they would turn to you and give you advice and tell you things like that. That's what a good mother is about. And back in the day, we used to have wonderful church mothers in the church. And nowadays, church mothers. We had real church mothers. Nowadays, we don't have real church mothers. When you had real church mothers, they did not, they gave you the truth. But if you think about it, when they gave you the truth, it never hurt. And, and I get kind of perturbed about people that always say, "Oh, the truth hurt." The truth does not hurt. I think I mentioned this last week. The truth does not hurt. It helps. It does not hurt. It helps. And those mothers back then, they would give you the truth. It would never hurt you. It would never. The truth doesn't offend you, and the truth does not hurt you. And they would give you the truth. It wouldn't offend you if it was a subject that could have been offensive. They would find a way to present it to you out of love. So one of the main qualities of a mother is a loving heart. This is Pastor Larry. I'm going to be signing off, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. All right, all right. Until we meet again, this is Pastor Larry saying happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Now remember, all the music you hear is on a wonderful app called Whoop Triggers Plus. It's on the Android or the Apple platform. This is Pastor Larry. Until we meet again, I'm going to be signing off with Let's Talk Man.